son Dante decides to come to the door at 8:55. Boom, 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 boom. Great. Looking for a belt. Looking for some shoes. Keep your stuff in one's place, boy. That's all I'm saying. Hi guys, it's Denise Cooper. If you are here, yeah. See, I was all like ready. Then I had to go get me some water. No wine tonight, just water. I was sitting in the perfect spot. I don't even know what the perfect spot is anymore. I could like move, and I had my stuff ready. But I ain't gonna let it. That was a rewind. I ain't gonna let it get me down. Always. If you don't know by now, this is John Coltrane. Oh, not me. Music. But what I was going to say, if you don't know by now, John Coltrane's wife, Alice Coltrane. Listen to this on YouTube. It's all on YouTube. John Coltrane, Alice Coltrane. She plays the harp. It's a bad, bad woman. I'm telling you, get your life, snatch your edges, make your girls. Okay, sorry. You guys, whatever. I don't know. I don't even care anymore. Alright, we're going to just listen to Johnny a little bit, and I'm going to say hello to everybody. Hi Kia Denae, hi KT, hi Alicia, the pretty brown-eyed reader, hi Angela, hi Erica, hi Musical Tati, the moderator. Hi everyone. If I miss your name, you know I don't intentionally mean to do so. Hi Najiri, hi Deirdre, hi Deirdre, where you been Deirdre? Hi Michael Reeds, how you doing? I watched Michael Reeds today. This is fresh on my mind, and talking about his goals for 2018. Been watching a lot about 2018 goals and things that people want to change, people want to incorporate in their usual lives. I say usual because if you're blessed enough to be here, it's your usual life. You're going to do some crafty changing around and so forth and so on. Books are sliding around over here next to me. Books over here, and got the radio down there. I'll tell you guys what I'm listening to. It's actually a second listen, but I was painting so much and listening to that, and it was just mind-blowing. And it's a lesson. So it's worth a rehearing. I reheard you. Hi Stephen Massey, hi Marley Massey, hello everybody, and that's enough of the introductions. It's now 9:05, and I am going to act like I'm a radio personality, yes. Anyway, no, I'm serious. I'm going to actually turn down the Johnny, as I always have to do. Hello, 3 people in the house. Hold on, y'all know this is my stuff right here. The whole thing is my stuff, but I'm just saying. How can you like say no to that? I don't even know why I'm playing him, because I think if I just stop playing the John Coltrane, I won't need a warm up, I don't need a cool down, I'll just start going in there. That's what I plan to do, because I'm only going to do an hour tonight, not even an hour and 10 minutes, 1 hour. So that was 5 minutes still. And we are here with it, man. It says I've been on for 4 minutes and 3 seconds, but I think I was late. 9:01. Like I said, my son knocked at the door at 8:55. What a beautiful timing. Just great timing, son. Just great. And he was the longest birth I had, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Anyway. Mm, 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 mm. Hey guys, it's Denise Cooper, and this is Booktube Live, a Booktube channel that goes live on Saturdays and Sundays, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Saturdays, and like 6 p.m. on Central Standard Time on like Sundays, because I used to talk in Kansas. No, anyway, I'm just joking. I'm just playing around because I'm going to talk about some books today. My top favorites, or top, I don't know, top 10, top 20, who cares? They're my favorites of this year, and I really enjoyed it. And some of them books that you saw last weekend talking about my favorites, some of those books did make it back to this weekend's favorites at the end of the year. No, they did not. And the reason being is because I kept reading. I'm still reading. I have so many books left to read to actually meet my goal, and tomorrow is December the 31st, and so I have some reading to do tonight and tomorrow, and then I'm done, son. I'm done for the day, though. Actually, I'm lying. I'm not done for the day because I'm still like in a reading mood. I've got my reading mojo back. Remember, I lost my reading physical mojo, and I wanted to listen to books because I was painting more, and every time I opened up the Marlon James, I just couldn't. I was struggling. So yeah. Now I'm just picking up book after book, and I'm living in them for a while, man. I'm just, even though I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm good at like crunch time or something. A lot of people are like that. I know I'm not the only one. Some people are really good at crunch time, and I think crunch time for me means like my eye is twitching. What is that? Those are little seizures or something in your brain. Anyway, maybe I need to read a brain book. I do not have some of my favorites right here, like a little baby. I don't know what that motion is, Denise. I don't know. Anyway, so I don't have a lot of my favorites because, as you guys know, I'm a healthy contributor to my library here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I am not going to stop that. I'm never ever going to put myself in a library ban again because it's just what I've been doing since I was a little girl, and who am I to do that? When I go into the library, I have that wonderful book smell, but who does it remind me of? My mother, because she was the first one to take me to the library, and then to just walk in that place. You guys, I'm sure you have it. You have a place where you may go into, and it reminds you of your mother, or it reminds you of your father. McDonald's and Baskin Robbins reminds me of my father. He used to take me and my sister Sabrina to Baskin Robbins, and I would always get daiquiri ice. It was his suggestion. He liked it because he knows I like sherbet, pineapple sherbet or whatever, and he said this is kind of like sherbet or whatever his words were at the time, but he recommended me to try the daiquiri ice. And literally years after my father passed and everything, every time I would go, it looks like I lost you guys. My computer flashed. So hopefully we're still live. It says I'm on yellow strength. But anyway, every time I would go to Baskin Robbins, and I haven't seen a Baskin Robbins in like umpteen years. When I was in Kansas, I used to go to Baskin Robbins, and I would always get daiquiri ice. It was like I wanted something else, but I just couldn't. It was like that connection with my dad, just like when I walked past my law books. And so, because he was a law professor. He taught criminal justice. Triple master's degree. I miss his talks. I miss going to McDonald's with him. I miss playing softball, and he came up to the softball field where I was playing, and he knew my coach Tony, and I miss seeing his face, but not in a miss like I'm so sad type of thing, but like who is that person for you now? Like when your parents pass away, like your children, of course, they fill a loads of space in your heart and mind, and the art and the books, and your whole life is just this full thing when you start thinking about where you come from and all the beautiful people that were in your life. Why did I get on this tangent? I don't know. Art, books, and life. Welcome to it. And I'm going to be talking about, again, my top favorites. There will be 10, but I'm sure I'm going to try to work it out this evening to make sure that I can. One of them I'm going to try to see if I should actually have this on my list, and I want you guys to weigh in on it, because I do plan on talking about just a little bit of why I should not have that on my list, because it's a reread. So our rereads on your top 10 favorites of 2017 or any year. Do you ever count your rereads during that year as one of your favorites of the year? Is it fair to do that to the other books that you've introduced into your life? A new writer that you've come across and you're putting it aside for a reread book? I don't know. You let me know. I've been thinking about that. And you guys probably already know what my book that I'm talking about. But it's such a good book, and it's such an amazing book. I'm like, it's not going to the end of the pile for nobody. And then I'm thinking, but it's a reread. So I'm trying to play both fences, and I don't know what to do. That's why I just don't know what to do about that. So we'll be talking about that. And some late comers, I'm telling you, that just knocked a couple of things off my list. And an amazing book that some of everybody has read, and I didn't read it until this year, and I'm like 52 and I just read this book. And I've seen that book in my home when I was younger. And I mean, I know of this book. You guys know what I'm talking about. The beginning of this year, like next month is January. This month, January, all the way back to this month, January, I read this book. And I'm thinking, why isn't it one of my favorites of 2017? Why is that? I got a little frustrated when I was reading that book, and it's supposed to. It should frustrate you. So it did its job. So I'll be talking about that. Like, it's a classic book or a very popular book that everyone just holds high. Just because it is held high, and you enjoyed it too, even though it frustrated you, should it be on your top 10 just because of the popularity? Maybe not really. Yeah, it's a popular book, a hell of a popular book, and it's classic to me. So I don't know. I'm going to check in with you guys, and yeah, I've asked several questions of you, so hopefully this will catch up and you'll be able to answer some of them. And just want to show you a couple of the books that I am currently reading and listening to right now. Things that I've been taking back to the library. I did take back the audio version of Marlon James. I can't do it. I'm sorry, not sorry, but I just can't do it. I have the physical book, and I do plan on finishing that book. I won't be finishing it next year, because this year is already done. And I've been reading that Marlon James, A Brief History of Seven Killings, since I looked back on my calendar when I was at work, because I always put down what books I've read each month on my calendar. I wish I could just bring that calendar home and show you guys, this is what I read this month. But I'm also on Goodreads, and we'll be talking about that too. So, yeah. Not going to finish the Marlon James, but 2 Marlon James 1 year, so 1.5 Marlon James for 2017 for me. And I'm going to put on my old lady glasses and say hi to everybody and stop acting a fool. But if you can hear me, please let me know. Because, yeah, I'm going to get some water. Hope I don't disconnect you guys. There's no guest in the house. I watched back the videos for last weekend with Robert Hawkins, my artist friend, and the looks that he was giving me on the side was hilarious. I told him when I saw him at work, I was like, you are so funny. But I had a good time having somebody here talk so that you guys can actually meet a new artist. You know how it goes. If you did not get to see last weekend's live, please check it out. It is on the record, and we made several different videos. I uploaded at least 2 of them. I didn't do the editing because it was just so long and it's time consuming. So I didn't do that. I just uploaded them, back to back. And we went live. Anyway, so hopefully the internet thing, we've talked to the company, and I think we've got everything ironed out. So that's that. And I'm going to say hi to everybody. Hi, Kia Denae. Hi, Angela. Hi, Miss Denise, she says. Good evening, says Kia Denae. Liking books. Hi there, Lisa. Hi, Denise. Hi, everyone. I was just, you just put up a video today, or at least like when I log in, as soon as I logged into mine, I saw Liking Books video. Like it's like the first one, because I'm noticing YouTube, I mean, they do a really good job at, like, the people that you watch, they keep them on your top. Like, so Liking Books, since I just watched her, I think she was one of the yeah, just recently I just watched you, and so her video came up like first, and Troy and everybody that had a video coming out. So I watched her just recently, and I just noticed your video. Angela says there's a few of them her. There's a few of them her still here. Okay, I'm sorry. There's a few of them still here, and the few of them still here. You know what? I'm gonna have to go back in my mind and try to figure out, because y'all know I just sat up here and talked, and so I don't know. I done lost what I was talking about. Oh my God! Hey, what's that mean, Tati? Y'all know I don't have a memory. I'm surprised that I can remember some of the books I read. Seriously. Liking Book says, I can hear and see you, and you look great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Because I don't know, it's just, I did go out one time today because we're starting to getting some freezing weather here, at the end of the year here in Texas. So we are closed because y'all know my job. We be closing on them holidays. So we just had Monday and Tuesday off. So we just had a 3-day work week, and now we're off this Monday. But we always get like a freezer day, a freezing day, or whatever you want to call it, a snow day at my job. So we're all hoping, because the weather is starting to, like, literally I went to Walmart this morning and did grocery shopping, and I had on my coat and my sweater, wasn't feeling the cold at all, you guys. And it is just dropping considerably. It's like freezing cold now, and you can smell the snow. And even though nothing is falling, we don't have any snow, but we're supposed to get some sort of rain or whatever, ice. And so we're hoping that that happens on Tuesday so they can shut it down, or at least Monday night. So because my job, they text us and they let us know, oh, we're done. Stay home. Enjoy your day. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. You got an extra day. So we're hoping for a 4-day weekend just like we had last weekend. So I loved it. I love 4-day weekends. Who in the world came up with a 5-day work week? Because 4 days is enough. And then that way more people could be employed. We got enough money in this country to make it happen if somebody would just run the country right. But anyway, nobody's ever going to get it right. Nobody. We're just fooling ourselves as we think so. Baskin Robbins. Oh, okay. Thank you, Angela. So Baskin Robbins are still, because I haven't seen them in like so long. Baskin Robbins are still here. Hi, Dawn. Hi, beautiful, she says. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Because, I got to try to milk it for everything it can, because I'm getting out. Anyway, so I'm going to actually go ahead and start with the books, because I don't want to go long tonight, because I do have some other things to do. I hope you guys have had an amazing reading year. I think this year, as every year that I am alive and get to actually indulge in just a really cool hobby that I've had forever. And okay, so what I do not have, let me put my glasses back on. What I do not have, you guys, is, and I'm going to my Goodreads. And I'm going to read, how they're doing this cute little year. I don't remember this last year. You guys let me know if this was when it says my year in books 2017, and it tells you all the pages you've read, the most popular book, the shortest book, the longest book. We went over this a little bit last Saturday, and the reason why I'm going over it again is because I've still been reading. I think last Saturday was like 18,000 something words. So it says my year in books in 2017. This is my journey in books in 2017. Okay, so I really like that, and thanks for people that like my year totals. I read 20,004 pages across 63 books. My goal for myself at the beginning of this year was 65, because coming up, I used to do about 65 to 70 books, and especially when DJ left and went home to Florida to finish out his senior year. If you follow this channel, you know the story. But he went home, and I was still at the job that I'm at, but I was also going to taking about 3 college courses. And for some reason, like when I'm in school, and it's like just like roundabout reading and whatever. So I was living at the library because I work downtown. I was going to college downtown and the library downtown. So I wouldn't get home until late, and when he wasn't around, it was just me at the house. And so I read so much it was ridiculous. And so then it started to go away. The more art shows I would do, then it would go away, like 50, 60, whatever. And then sometimes 40 even, depending on how much art I was doing. So my art, yeah, like I could read a book in 1 month, like a 300 and 400 page book in a month, and turn out a whole bunch of art. And then the next month I'd be sitting chilling with my books and one piece of art. So it goes back and forth. So that's why next year I'm including the arts in books. So I'm 63. I have 2 more books, you guys, just 2. And I'm going to make it because, and this is just how instant that I kind of want these independent writers to reach out to me. An independent writer reached out to me on Instagram like Friday. I think it was Friday when I got the message, and I was at work, and he obviously sent it to a group of people, and I got a message, and I was, on my break, and I looked at my phone, and it says, why am I getting this message? And I was like, I don't know, I got this message too. So it was from a writer, and he said, oops, I'm sorry, he apologized. I was just sending, my book. And probably everybody that was on this group list obviously got pictures on their books, and I don't know. I didn't look at the group. So I was like, well, do you have a website? Because next year I'm doing the blackout, and I'm getting the books from all independent black-owned bookstores, not shopping Amazon, or because he told me to go on Amazon and get it. And he's like, well, that's the, basically that was the only place he had it right now. It's a novella, and it's on my Goodreads. I checked it off that I'm reading it. And I said, he sent me the link. I told him, I said I would get it. And he sent me the link. I have, a little $5 credit on Amazon, so I didn't even know. And so I got it. I think it was like a $2 book or $2.99 or whatever the price it was. So I didn't have to pay for it, and I got it immediately. And I had planned on paying the little money for it and reading the book. And I told him I would give him a review, and so I will be doing that next month. But I'm going to be finished with that book this evening. That's my goal, because it is short, and it says I only have an hour and 20 minutes left. So I just started it, so I'm like maybe 10 pages in, and I like the pace. And it's talking about things places I've been. He's talking about meeting people online, going to Jamaica. So he's going over to Jamaica. He's also talking about Bike Week in South Carolina, and he's talking about Florida, which I moved here from. And so he's talking about all these places that I've been and the type of events that I love. And so it's really going fast paced. And I don't even know the narrator's name right now. And there's like this thing with with a lot of books that I'm reading this year, that the narrator doesn't have a name yet, And then one of them cleared up, like the book that I just finished the other day. This book, thanks to KT and her suggestions, I have found some good books, but this one has 3 characters in it. 2 guys and 1 girl, and I just got off topic. Let me go back to my Goodreads, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But thank you, KT, because I actually found a favorite book that knocked some other books off the shelf when we were doing the writers in Africa, and I went and picked up those 3 African authors. So anyway, on Goodreads, I only have 2 more books, and you guys can actually look at my Goodreads. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but the reason why I wanted to pull it up is because the books that I don't have that are on my top 10, so I'm going to talk about those first. Number one that I need to talk about is highest rated on Goodreads, is one of my favorite books of the year. As you guys know, Trevor Noah, Born a Crime, Stories from South African Childhood, and it's an average of 4.41 average on the star rating on Goodreads, and that's one of my favorites. One of my other favorites that I don't have, which was a library checkout. Now, Trevor Noah I have on my Audible rather. My other one that's on here, and it's W. Kamau Bell, The Awkward Thoughts of W. Kamau Bell. I love that freaking book. So anyway, I love that book. And then that's 2. And then, now that was a physical read. Trevor Noah was the Audible. And Chigozie Obioma, The Fisherman. Lisa, that book was so good. I think Lisa was the one that said that that was one of her favorite books of the year when she read it. Don't quote me, because you know I get stories all mixed up, especially when you're watching a lot of Booktube and you're reading and you're going to work. I can't remember everything, but I think she was the one that said that. So The Fisherman was so darn good that, like, what I'm finding out about these audio books that I'm reading is some of them are too dang good for audio. Like, I'm glad that I listened to it, but I want to own that book, so I'll probably get that book in the future. But I really was like, I was painting at one point, and I remember I just sat down. I was like, had the paint, my paintbrush done dried. It was just ugly. But the book was so good, and I was just sitting there going, oh my God. And then I remember rewinding the CD or starting it over, and then I got up and painted, and I listened to it again. I was like, this is so darn good. But yeah, and the narrator was good, or I wouldn't have keep rewinding it. So those are 3 that I do not have that are definitely on my top 10. Which means I'm going to go over. I'm just looking at my Goodreads real quick to make sure there's a lot of and especially when you can go back. Like, we read Bedrock Faith this year. It just seems like it was eons ago. I don't know why, but we read that in February for the buddy read with Didi. Was that this year? Jesus, you guys, this has been a long year if that's the truth. Oh my gosh. Okay, see, this is why my list ain't no good. Oh my God. Duh. See, did you see that? Did you just see that? Did you just witness what you just saw? Did you just see that for real? I reached back and I got a book. Yeah. Y'all know how I felt about this book. I'm looking at my Goodreads challenge, and I don't know if I'm on the right year, because I swear this seems like eons ago that I read this book. Oh my God. This is one of my favorite books. Probably one of my favorite books of all time. It was so red. White Teeth. Zadie Smith. Dang it, Denise. Jeez. I went around and I got my books, and I got the list right here. You hear that? There's the physical books that are supposed to be in my top 10, along with the 3 that I just talked about on my Goodreads challenge. And so things are switching up right now. Let me look at my list. Let me skim my list real quick. Let me just indulge myself, because this don't make no sense. Hello, 11 people. I appreciate y'all, but I cannot believe. Tati, somebody tell me, did we really read Bedrock Faith this year? Is this year been that long? I mean, it seems like a long time ago that we read that. Let me see what y'all saying. Let me see. I'm scrolling down. Anybody watching this recording and listening, I'm still here, but I'm scrolling down. So I'm reading, yes, liking books. Lisa says, The Fisherman, yes. That book was, girl, you know, she really liked that book. And I remember, I think, talking to you just a little bit about that. That book was dope. And the cover is beautiful. I just don't see why I don't want to own that book. I tell you, the library sells me on so much stuff. That's why I keep frequenting it. Plus, I just love the library. I go there sometimes and just read for 2 hours, even though it's quiet home. You know, I don't have no kids or anything, just me and my grown behind son. And so Musical Tati says, would The Fisherman be blackout eligible? I didn't get it in 2017, but it's on my shelf. Not for me, it's not blackout eligible, but what I love about everybody joining in, please read it. You know, I wouldn't limit myself if I just didn't want to do this for myself. Like, I don't want to limit anybody else. But for my rules, no, it's not eligible, because I believe it's just not eligible because he's African American. I mean, he's African, but not African American. So Tati also says, I just said the same thing about Bedrock Faith on my video. Exactly. My long video that I'm not going to want to edit. I know that's right. I'm so here with you. And I'm trying to get better. I've been doing, as you guys seen, hopefully you guys have joined some of my family members. And Destiny, she's not a family member. She's a friend of Dante's. And so they did some of my, getting ready for the blackout videos. And DJ Yeah, Angela, you know, DJ he's got such a good dry humor and he cracks me up. And I know that's my child and I know he lives here. But I have watched DJ on that video. About at least 10 of those views are mine. Laying in here cracking up, looking at my child. He cracks us up like that on the regular, though. And Dante does laugh just like that every time DJ is in the midst of cracking us up with his funny self. All right, so, and then Lycan Book says, we did read Bedrock Faith in February. Doesn't it seem like it's a long time ago? You guys, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Maybe it's just... I don't know, just a long year. Or maybe, I know one thing when I'm at work. Okay, when I'm at work and I'm always writing down on the month, like Bedrock Faith in February. I read Sidney Poitier, I believe, in February. Strivers Row. Let me go back to Goodreads. Y'all got me about living in Goodreads. But Strivers Row Spy. And then I started following him on Twitter. And he be going off on the press. Yeah, The Strivers Row Spy by Jason Overstreet. I listened to that on audio, and I think that was my first audio of the year. See, now they're not in order like I want them. But anyway, I think that was one of the first audios that I read or listened to of the year. And I'm telling you, when I look at that, that looks like it was just so long ago. Oh my God, you guys. Obviously, I have about 20 favorites. I've read 63 books so far. Tonight is Saturday night. I will be finishing up the one that I just told you about that I got from the independent writer that just sent me a message. I got his book. I'm reading it, and I'm liking it. And it's a novella. I asked him, was he still working on a series? He said he's still working on it. So, but you guys, I listened to The Black Count, which is one of my favorite nonfiction books of this year. Joan Didion, Magical Thinking. I loved it. It was very short. But after watching her on Netflix, oh my God. Okay, The Philosophers. Okay, bye, y'all. I'm done. I don't have any favorites. It's over. Okay, this is what you need to do. Please go to Art Books Life with the F on my Goodreads. And if you want to see what my favorite books of 2017 were, they're all there. And yeah, but I'm going to show you the ones that I picked out. And the Knicks, I really liked the Knicks. At first I didn't. Salvage the Bones. Okay, I had a bomb. King Peggy, I had a bomb year. Yeah, a bomb year. Anyway, what was all that? That was a bomb year. Y'all didn't do that when y'all was little? I'm sorry. Anyway, okay. Zadie Smith, Swing Time. Okay, first of all, hold up. This year has been way too long. How did I read White Teeth and Zadie Smith Swing Time? Is that a lie? No, I did. I have 2 Zadie Smiths. Jeez, this year is long. I'm flabbergasted. And my first review of the year was J. California Cooper, my namesake, and it was the one I read was The Future Has a Past. And it's different cover than the one there. Goodreads always has these different covers, but anyway. And then the others I'm going to show you. I'm just seriously, okay, I don't own this one. This was a library checkout. This was the first one I read with the book club. I loved it. Alan Janae loved it. It's Perfect Peace by Daniel Black. Binti is on the list. I read Binti this year. I did read the Pulitzer Prize winning Colson Whitehead, Underground Railroad. And I don't have that one. That one's on my Audible. And I listened to Going to Meet the Man by James Baldwin. Nowhere is a Place. I listened to that. Bernice L. McFadden. Okay, bye. Yeah. Let me get off the Goodreads because I could be looking at that list all day. Okay, just know. I'm not trying to be morbid. If I die, I'll be happy. I had a good reading year. I will have to say that. And then I've got these books that I'm going to talk about. Oh my gosh. Yeah, pretty much thought I had my stuff together this evening, but if you are just new coming into this live session, it will be recorded and played back later, so if you think you missed something, please do watch and comment below and let me know what your favorite books of the year are. If you have a top 5 or top 10 or going over the board and having a top 40 like me, then please share if you so want to. And if you have a Booktube channel and I have never seen your videos, please let me know, and definitely comment in the live. Right now we're live. And also if you're just coming in and you want to watch the beginning of the video, please do, and then comment below and let me know what your favorites are, or just link your channel. Sometimes it will go in spam, but I can always check it off, and then that way I have a reminder to go check out your top 10, 15, 20 of 2017. So I'm going to continue on with the physical books that I do have, or this will go forever. So you guys, I just finished today, picked it up today and read it today. I got this years ago from a library sale. I'm going to have to put back my glasses on. It's just the glare. I don't like the way it looks when I'm looking at you guys. So anyway, I enjoyed the heck out of it is. I'm just going to read something for you guys. And it's okay. Let me tell you how many pages it is. Now, wait a minute. Goodreads might have to do some recalculating. No, this is more than 40 pages. Okay. So this is 81 pages, right? And somebody had this book because they marked in it, and I was agreeing with the places that they marked in. I'm telling you. It's called A Small Place, and it's by Jamaica Kincaid. And I read Mr. Potter, and KT, just check it out, the library, because I think you said that you gave that book away to somebody. Remember, I don't know if you guys have been following me on this channel, and I read Jamaica Kincaid's Mr. Potter, and it was like the sun and the this and the that, and it was very repetitive type of, I don't know what to call it, like just a very different style of writing. What do you call it when you're just experimental type of writing? That's what I wanted to say. So I read that, and I was telling you guys, just save me from this book. But something made me want to push through. I mean, the book cover for Mr. Potter is beautiful. It's this young kid on it, and I love that cover. And it was my first Jamaica Kincaid book after collecting her for years, and then just, you know, finally reading her. I ended up connecting to the story and understood why she was making those stutter steps and that repetitive type of flavor. That book was brilliant at what she meant to do, and I connected because I had a same kind of experience as that young lady in the book telling the story. So yeah, I don't think that video is on private. I think it's still available, but I talked about Mr. Potter on this channel long time ago. So A Small Place, I read today. 81 pages. Goodreads challenge is a challenge, and I am loving it because I'm picking things off my shelf and finishing some library short reads that are profound, heavy light is what I like to call them. I'm just going to read a little bit, and I'm not going to read a little bit from everything, but I just kind of want to give you, you can probably read from anything, but anyway. If you go to Antigua as a tourist, this is what you will see. If you come by aeroplane, you will land at the VC Bird International Airport, VC, or Vera Cornwall. Bird is the Prime Minister of Antigua. You may be the sort of tourist who would wonder why a Prime Minister would want an airport named after him. Why not a school? Why not a hospital? Why not some great public monument? You are a tourist and you have not yet seen a school in Antigua. You have not seen the hospital in Antigua. You have not yet seen a public monument in Antigua. As your plane descends to land, you might say, what a beautiful island Antigua is, more beautiful than any other islands you have seen. And they were very beautiful in their way, but they were much too green, much too lush with vegetation, which indicated to you, the tourists, that they got quite a bit of rainfall, and rain is the very thing that you, just now, do not want, for you are thinking of the hard and cold and dark and long days you spent working in North America, or worse, Europe, earning some money so that you could stay in this place, Antigua, where the sun always shines and where the climate is deliciously hot and dry for the 4 to 10 days you are going to be staying there. And since you are on your holiday, since you are a tourist, the thought of what it might be like for someone who had to live day in, day out in a place that suffers constantly from drought and so has to watch carefully every drop of fresh water used while at the same time surrounded by a sea and an ocean, the Caribbean Sea on one side and the Atlantic Ocean on the other, must never cross your mind. Yeah. And it just keeps going, and it just keeps going, and it keeps heightening, like, you tourists, you're not thinking about this or that or the other, because that, the plumbing, you could be like swimming in a pool with some of the feces that are coming from your hotel, because this is not properly planned. This, I mean, it just goes on. And when she gets to a point where she's talking about, England coming over to everywhere, whether it's the islands or America or wherever, they have taken over and trying to make England out of all these other, places that they're discovering. It's just the bomb.com. Then she goes into the banking systems and how they got their money, and it's so Americana, it's so everything, it's so the takeover. It happens everywhere. And that book is small and compact, and it is heavy. It is not light, only in page count. 81 pages. You can do it in a day, and then sit back and just think about it. Or I've looked up some more videos in Antigua. As you guys know, the Hurricane Irma pretty much devastated a lot of it. And I was looking at, was it Barbuda? And Robert De Niro's promised to basically help rebuild Barbuda. I forget. It's not Barbados. It's Barbuda, something like that. It's in the book. And I watched a video about that today, and it's really I just kind of lived in that book for the first part of my day after I did my grocery shopping, trying to close in before this ice hits, and so I can stay home for another day. But that is one of my favorite books. So it's not like I can sit up here and say 10 when I had the year that I had. So if anybody else is having that problem, please let me know. And I'm going to read about it right now. So I'm going to take a couple of seconds and look before Tati gets on me. Hi. Okay. Hi. I seen all that. Okay. Yes, DJ was hilarious. Okay, wait a minute. Yes, girl, we did that time. Okay. Yes. Okay. So DJ was hilarious, Angela says. So late, but hello. Hello, KT. How are you? I love your family. And your Vlogmas is off the chain. I say it all the time, but I love it. And I'm going to be, when I finish my challenge, I got 2 more books to read, so I'm going to be getting caught up. I did a couple of videos today, or just watching. I think I watched Michael Reed's, and like I said already. But I can't wait to just go to your playlist, because I think you've been putting in your playlist, which is so smart to do, which I always start and then I don't finish and whatever. So I'm going to go to your playlist and get caught up on the ones that I've missed, because I just want to relive the whole warm feeling that you gave us this month. I appreciate it. And everyone's saying hi to KT. And hi, Alicia Pretty Brown Eyed Reader says hi, Kay. And okay, so everybody's saying hi. Perfect Peace was excellent. Yes, it was. It was one of the best discussions I've had with a book club. And that's the one that I joined here at the Doc Bookshop. And they do it on Angela. They do it on, I think it's first Saturdays of every month. And today is not the first Saturday of the month, so what next weekend is, and that's, what are they reading? They're reading The Cartel, the one that Dante had in my video, or in his video, okay? So they're reading that, and hopefully I can read that and join them. I don't know. I think it would be a perfect thing to do, because it's the blackout, and there's the book club, and I have to get out of my comfort zone and just go and be around people and discuss the book. So it's not like I'm gonna ask you guys, should I do that? Because you can say yes, and Saturday will come and I'll be like, child, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna go live. That's enough people interaction for me. But I don't know. I just can't commit. I'm just getting worse as I get older. I'm just getting so introverted. It's ridiculous. And then I get this outroverted, or whatever you want to call it, and I want to go places. And they're usually the bookstores, and book festivals. So That's my goal. And I am going to be going to Killeen, to the Black-owned bookstore. And the list, yeah, Tati, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I had a discussion with my friend Tati. And it was a bookish discussion. And yeah. Sometimes things can make you perturbed, and you just have to just like drop it, because I don't want my year to end on a negative note. Like, I literally am grateful that Tati was able to just listen to me rant, and I didn't have to bring that here, because I almost did. And so thank you, Tati, again. I tried to do what I was going to do, and then I didn't even become a member. That's all I'm going to say. And it says that I was, and then it says that I'm not. So you tell me why I'm not. I don't know, girl, but we'll talk about that some other time. But thank you for letting me rant. I really appreciate that, because sometimes you need that, and I definitely needed it that day. So I'm going to bring up my physical books and going to put back on my glasses so I can actually see the darn books. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about. Since this is a reread, and heavily loved, my beloved Toni Morrison. Beloved. I freaking love it. So this is Beloved, and this is Toni Morrison. This is a reread. Watch the movie, and you guys know how I feel about it. But something about it is like, if we're being honest, 100% honest, talking about my favorite books of the year, how can anything like surpass this? And my number one for this year, The Book of Night Women by Marlon James. How can I let anything surpass this? Is it fair? Is it fair for me to pick a reread over a new read for me and say that this is my number one versus this one? What do you guys think? This is dope. This is so darn dope. I freaking love this book, and the cover is so delicious and divine. Marlon James, that you killed that. And then my beloved. How do I choose? Do I have to choose? If somebody said, you have to, Denise, go on live and tell your top 10 and choose your number one book of the year. I mean, you have to make a decision. I'd say, pay me, because you're just not going to get that out of me. And I don't know. I'm just joking, but I don't know. I really, talking about old school, something I'm familiar with, something that's fresh when I reread it, and something I could see myself, and I pray that I live a long life like she is and get to my 80s. I will reread this again. And guess what? This is not even my favorite Toni Morrison book. It's not. Song of Solomon is. It was my first favorite Toni Morrison, and this is a book that just haunts me, and I keep reading it. And I got the Oprah book about it, and I want to own the movie, and I've never bought the movie, but I really need to get it, because there's something that is not finished with this story with me that I enjoy. Not that she didn't finish the story. Don't get that, because, you know, people just take stuff and run. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I connect to it so richly that I cannot like be done with it just yet. I'm just not ready to be done with it. And I'm glad we're reading Tar Baby. That's a reread. I love that book. And so just talking about this year, if I had to choose one to be my number one, is it fair to choose a reread over something new for me? Like that? Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? That's how my year has been. That's how good my year has been in books. And two other library, the Ratchet Hair Week. It's got to stop. Anyway, Year of Yes, Shonda Rhimes, and Dr. Bertice Berry. Dr. Bertice Berry, I gotta get my voice from behind these so you can hear me. But The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes, amazing. Amazing to listen to. I'm glad I listened to this one versus reading it. Not to say that I don't think I would have enjoyed and not enjoyed the reading, but listening to this, because on this book she's narrating her own book and it plays the actual live speeches. Excuse me. So the speeches, water, I'm getting parched. Y'all know how I do. I slurp. But anyway, so The Year of Yes. If you've read this, let me know in the physical form. And I see a lot of people that have rated this book and it's physical and they love it. So I'm sure I would have enjoyed it. But I would like to own this. So I think I'm going to purchase this on my Audible so I can listen to it again. It's very uplifting. She's a powerful voice, and I really love the way she told the story. There was some kind of repetitiveness in it where she was just trying to hone in her point, and I kept going, if I read that, would I just be sick of that? So I still think that's one of my top books. Don't know what number, but I'm just saying. And then Bertice Berry, The Ties That Bind. Oh my God, this is good. And the reason why it was so good to me is because she, okay, I just recently watched Henry Louis Gaines Jr. and they're recorded, they're on Netflix, they're on YouTube. I watched the one with Sean Diddy Combs and LL Cool J, and they traced their roots, and neither one of their families he found the slavery in. So their people were free. In this particular book, it talks about how, with emancipation, the free slaves, not every state freed their slaves at the same time. So the most affluent African American families in America were some of the slaves that were set free first. So when I watched LL Cool J and Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy as we used to call him, they kind of had that kind of a guilt, like, really? And then in Puffy's line of family, there was all these entrepreneurs. And look at him. I mean, he was the first African American to have a store on Fifth Avenue in New York somewhere or whatever. He broke some record or whatever, or became the first. And his entrepreneurial spirit, I hate that word, but his spirit and what he does. And then LL Cool J with the Mama Said Knock You Out and the boxing. He's always loved boxing. In his real family that they found, there was boxing in that family. It was like, we are the same people. We are our ancestors. We are who they were, and we are who they are. And this book talks about a lot of that ancestry. Bertice Berry is really good. And then to come out and find out she's the illegitimate child of somebody famous. But she said she wasn't going to name it in the book. But after I listened to it, I went on Google and I said, who is Bertice's? Yeah, I did. And I found out who it was. Do you guys know? Do you guys know? Because she said she wasn't going to never tell in that book. But she's written several books after this. So maybe she gave all the info. And maybe that's why it's online. So all of you who are on Google right now, go right ahead. Find out who her daddy is. Got a wonderful voice. Anyway. Now, those two books that I just showed you are library checked out in their audio. Anyway, Chintu, Tati. This is my number 2 book. This is the number 2 book that I had. As you guys just saw, can't even truly pick out a number 1. If I have to put the Toni Morrison back or behind because you feel that it's a reread, go ahead and give Marlon James the number 1 spot. I'm good. I'm cool with that, for real. But Chintu was my number 2. This was good. This was good because it was my number 2 because it was so different. White Teeth might give this a battle, but I'm just saying. Well, I'm saying though, there was something about this book that I just really enjoyed about the different family members and how they just carried on and told each story, and you would just get involved with one family and then member, and then you would get another one fed to you and another one fed to you. But the beginning of this book to me is brilliant. I really enjoyed the beginning of this book more than anything. And actually, not to say more than anything, like the rest of the book wasn't good, because it kept me going. Like, this book had everything. I really enjoyed it. The African writers, I'm going to miss them next year. The African Americans, I'm telling you, we are who they are. It just keeps going. So anyway, and now these are in no order. I don't have a 3 and a number 4 and everything. I'm just going to show you my top reads, the ones that I own. My man, my author of the year, Percival Everett. I Am Not Sidney Poitier, which I read a Sidney Poitier book in February, Black History Month. I Am Not Sidney Poitier because it is Percival Everett at his comedic genius self. Like, it's funny, but it's not like a 100%. This is not a comedian book. If you pick up one Percival Everett and another Percival Everett, you'll understand that he doesn't just write one type of book. He's not stuck in a genre. The dude is brilliant, and I dare you to read him and not enjoy him. And if you're a little quirky or need sometimes a difficult book or just a different book or not such a formulaic type of book, and you just really love a good, difficult literary read and somebody that goes, the irony is just, I mean, it's funny, but he's so smart and I love it. This is like one of my favorite Percival Everett books, and my favorite is Erasure. But this one I read this year, and it's definitely, nothing was knocking that off. No, ma'am. This is the book that I did not have in my top 10. This is the book. I know. Shame on you, Denise. Shame on you. Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. The beginning of this book, brilliant. Patricia, Walk in the Woods, who talks to me in the comments section, we talked about the beginning of this book. If you have not read Invisible Man, now the rest of it kind of frustrated me because it should frustrate you. But then there's this part where I was on the other person's side, like I was digging what the other guy was saying. I was like feeling, I was like, yeah, finally, shoot. And then I was like, oh, he the crazy one. But you guys, I kept going, why isn't this like one of my favorite books this year? The beginning? Heck yeah. But then as it went on and on and on, it kind of dropped down. And I actually forgot that I read that book this year. And then I kept looking at my list going, oh my God, this year I read Invisible Man. How can that not be top 10? Anyway. But it's like one of my favorites of this year. I just can't put in a number on it. You know what I'm saying? So, and a witty. Definitely she stayed. She stuck it out. And the one that I'm coming up next, this is C.P. Patrick, the beautiful C.P. Patrick that I follow on Instagram. And again, I never heard of her until I saw her on Instagram. I don't even know if I started following her or what, but she's just very active with her readers as well, just like Miss Bernice McFadden. And so on Instagram, I follow both of them, and I love this book. I remember I read this at the beginning part of the year when I was reading Beloved, and I freaking loved it. And it was around the time I read Beloved and The Truth About a Witty and The Underground Railroad, which I wasn't feeling after reading these two. So anyway, but I did end up liking it, but just I need a physical book for The Underground Railroad. I didn't care for the audio. So what you don't see is Wally Lamb, my beloved, just a go-to writer for me. He got knocked out of my top 10, and this is why. Yep, The Heart of the Leopard Children. The Heart of the Leopard Children. And this was a book that I checked out at the library when KT's discussion topic was about books in Africa from a female perspective, but this is a man. Remember, I went straight, I had a list and I couldn't find most of the books on my list for African female writers right there readily available in the library. So I went to the ends. Me and my son DJ, we were looking for the list. He was in the library with me. So I go, everything's alphabetical order in the library. So I go straight to the ends. And I go, I know I'm going to find some African writers from Nigeria because the names start with N. And I found 3, and they were all male. So I checked them out anyway, and I'm so glad I did. And it's The Heart of the Leopard Children, Wilfrid. It looks like Wilfrid. It looks like Wilfred, but it looks like Wilfrid too. Wilfred Nsonde. And I love it. It was only, you guys, 78 pages. So a small place with Jamaica Kincaid. Telling you. Now, I'm also going to ask you, my year looks like the blackout, 2018, except for a few books this year. And these, I can't read. If he has another book, I can't read him next year, but I can definitely read him in 2019 because, as you guys know, 4 quarters going across the water and coming back to America by the way of books. 4 quarters. And then, yeah, I'm going to be looking for his book. Oh, it was shiny. I'm sorry. Hold it still, Denise. There we go. So that book knocked off Wally Lamb for one of my top 10. Yeah, it did. And that's pretty much that, you guys. I'm going to wrap this up. This is a second listen. This is Warmth of Other Suns, which the Warmth of Other Suns is by who? My favorite male writer. One of them, because Langston Hughes is another, but Richard Wright. And, you know, it talks about Richard Wright, like at the beginning of the book. I want this physical book, too, because I actually want to see how it's set up, because the audio is brilliant. And I'm listening to this. I'm on the 4th CD. And I listened to this a couple of years ago when I was painting, and you guys saw that on the other channel when I lived at the other place. And I love it. Why am I listening to it again? Because that's what I do. This is not just for entertainment. This is for a lesson learned, something that I want to keep in my mind a little bit, because it's a study. And with some of the books that I've read this year, and also some of the things I've been doing on my own outside of just reading books, I needed to listen to this again. And each time I go, the book is never there, but the audio was there. Another thing I'm still wanting to keep, and this will take me into next year's High Cotton, and I can read him next year. He's African American. And I love this. This is what I was reading in the Dennis Solemn by Kalisha Buchanan, and it's called Solemn, and you guys have seen this before. So those are the 3 things I'm currently into right now, but the other 2 books to get caught up on my Goodreads are very short. I'll make the one I'm reading on the Kindle for the independent writer, and I'm going to look for that right now so I can tell you guys what it is, because I did mark it on my Goodreads. And then the other one will be the 40-page Civil Disobedience. So then I'll meet my challenge. I got tonight and tomorrow to read less than 150 pages. Girl, I'm so good at that. I can do that because I know how to tune people out and just start reading. Okay, let me tell you what that book is that I'm reading currently on my shelf. If you are into my Goodreads, you probably have seen it already, but I am going to be going, because let me check the time. I'm at 1 hour and 2 minutes, and I'm going to read what you guys are saying while that Goodreads is coming up. Hi. That's where I left off. Okay. And then, okay, I got, oh, hi, Karen from Run Right Reads. Her and her dimples. And I've been enjoying your Vlogmas too. And Karen Run Right Reads says hello to everybody. She says, hey Kay, hey Alicia, hey liking books, so hey Lisa. And then she says, I read Jamaica Kincaid books this year and really enjoy her writing style. Oh my goodness, which ones did you read? Because the only ones I've read is Small Place and Mr. Potter, and totally enjoy her writing style too. Especially, I'm telling you, that Mr. Potter did something to me. Like at the beginning, I was like, what is this? Why is she herky-jerky all over the place? And it was just getting on my nerves. And then as I kept going, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can so relate. I think I would do that too. Like if I had to write a book about the subject matter, and she's writing this book to her father, you know, who was illiterate, and and he was just never there, and his absence in her life, and but yet being around at the same token, it was just, that book was good. Okay, anyway, that's that. I talked about that book and did reviews on it. So she's right. I've read Mr. Potter, Annie John, and See Now and Then. I have Annie Pond, and I have Lucy, and I have something else. Okay, Annie John. Okay, I'll just do this. Since I don't know how I'm looking. I don't know what y'all seeing. I don't know what y'all seeing. I'm rolling back. That was me. I just had to look and see what y'all was seeing. Make sure My girls was in place. Okay, hold up. Okay, so let me see what you guys are seeing. I have to keep this up so, you know, because I'm talking here, but I need to know if you guys are seeing everything. This is what we're talking about, Mr. Potter. If you guys have not read any Jamaica Kincaid, or if you haven't read this one, I would recommend this one. It's that herky-jerkiness that I was talking about in the beginning. I know it's over an hour, and I got stuff to do, but remember, you guys, I was like, what is this? This is how it reads. And that day, this is the first page. And that day, the sun was in its usual place. Remember this, you guys, those of you who follow this channel about 2 years ago? Up above in the middle of the sky, and it shone in its usual way, so harshly bright, making even the shadow pale, making even the shadow seek shelter. That day the sun was in its usual place. Where was the sun? Up above and in the middle of the sky, but Mr. Potter did not note this, so accustomed was he to this, the sun in its usual place, up above and in the middle of the sky. If the sun had not seen it been in its usual place, that would have made a great big change in Mr. Potter's day. It would have meant rain. However briefly such a thing, rain might fall, but it would have changed Mr. Potter's day. So used was he to the sun, where in its usual god dang place. I was like, where are we going, Jamaica? Where are we going? And it just keeps going on like that and on like that and on like that. And then it starts getting very dang deep. And I start to relate, and I almost stopped everything I was doing and wanted to write my own dang book. I'm telling you, that book was, I connected with it. Then this one I want to read, Lucy, Jamaica Kincaid. Yeah. And then Annie John. I love that cover. The little girl in the book is just thebomb.com sitting there in that, looks like an old schoolhouse. She's just like, she looked like she's bad. I'm sorry. She looks like she's a bad little girl that's doing stuff she ain't got no business doing. And then I bought this one because, of course, truthfully, you want to know why I started buying Jamaica Kincaid years ago? This is like one of the first ones on Mr. Potter. But it's because of her name. It's Jamaica Kincaid. Who doesn't want to read a writer named Jamaica Kincaid? Okay, it's not. It's like the dopest name. Like if I could have a name, somebody rename me, this would be my name. Hey guys, this is Denise Cooper. No, this is Jamaica Kincaid. Welcome to my world. So yeah. Anyway, this is my garden book, and so this is kind of weird, but I'm gonna read it. But this was right after Mr. Potter. I was like, let me try to pick up something else. And my daughter said the same thing about one of the books that she has of Jamaica Kincaid's, and she's like, Mama, I don't know if you'll like that. But then again, so you know, that kind of a thing. So anyway, it's beautiful. It's freaking beautiful. But I was like, okay, Jamaica, I'm not sure. And there's little pictures in here, and it's just gorgeous. It's so beautiful, and it's got her greenhouse, and she's just like chilled out. Look at that. Look at that. Who doesn't want to read her? I mean, really. Dang. Now I got 2 under my belt, and 1, 2, 3 more of hers to go. So, hi 12 people, bye 12 people. It's that time. It's that time to wrap it up and say goodnight. I hope that you enjoyed some of my top, well, I couldn't really narrow it down, and I don't see anybody responding to those questions I asked, but if you did, it's because I'm slow, and you know, Tati will get on me. I'm scrolling up, Tati. Okay, I don't see it. We talked about Perfect Peace. Okay, I need to reread Beloved. It's been a while, says Don Ziem. See, isn't it? It's like one of those books you just want to reread. And Don also says, I listened to Year of Yes, like it so much, I bought it off of Audible. High five, girlfriend. High five. And then Pretty Brown Eye Reader says, I need the physical copy of the Year of Yes. I enjoyed it. Most def. It's something that that I would just want to listen to again. Those speeches were powerful, and the way she came around, that one speech when she went to talking about the glass ceiling. The glass ceiling speech was so good. I just rewinded, and I was up there. I remember I was standing right over there painting, and I kept rewinding that part because I was like, I need to hear this. This is so amazing. Like, I want my son to listen and just like, you know, we have grown kids and you can't make them, but I just really would like to say, hey, just listen to this. You know, listen to this woman talk about this glass ceiling. Listen to her thanking all those women that came before her. Listen to how she's not superwoman, not, you know, this shouldn't be, you know, I just listen. And I can't wait to just go and watch them on YouTube, because I was planning on doing that day, but I kept painting, so I didn't get around to it. But the year of yes, yes, Alicia, yes, Dawn, yes, yes, yes. And so, Liking Book says, happy to see Chintu. It was also on my 2017 favorites. I agree, the beginning is really the best. It truly was. Like, the beginning was so dope. I was like, when they was traveling, when they was making that, when they, you know, that's one of those books that I had to do my top things that I need from books instead of talking about the book, because I kind of just wanted to talk about it, and probably would have spoiled a whole bunch of stuff, because I don't like it when you just tell everything, but, you know, discuss but not tell, and that's hard for me to do. So it's not, you know. Hey, okay, I'm trying to catch up. I tried to read Invisible Man, says Alicia. I put it down. I couldn't get into it. Alicia, just keep reading. I felt the same. I'm gonna be honest, and that's why this is why that book did not, like, I kept going, why isn't it like one of my number ones? This is a famous book. This book. I mean, this is Barack Obama. His nickname was Invisible Man because he was reading that book when he met one of his college buddies, and he was always reading that book, and that's what he called him, Invisible Man. And I'm thinking, Barack Obama read this book. Everybody's read this book. My mama's read this book, you know. So why is it so, you know, and the Richard Wright connection, you know, that talks about in my book, and the beginning of it is so dope. I was so ready. I was so there. I was like, dang, this is going to be like one of my favorite books of all time. I'm finally reading The Invisible Man. And then I was making a video of my experience along with the book. I never uploaded the videos because it was very negative. It was very negative. I was like in the middle of the book, and I'm like, I just don't like this dude. And then it reminded me of the Richard Wright short story that I was telling you about, or talking to you about, in 8 Men. And I was like, this is so much like it. And yeah, there's a connection there. And, you know, so anyway, I'm gonna start rambling. But there's a part in that book that just pisses me off. I was just like, but it's supposed to. It's almost like when I first read Native Son, which is one of my favorite books by my favorite author. I was like, why have Bigger Thomas do this? This is what they want. Why are you giving it to him? But then you understand. It's like that, you know, that foot in your chest type of, and I think that's what Invisible Man was going for. And let me just get that. Let's just see, Pretty Brown Eye reading. What you got me doing? It upset me. It just really did. But hold on. If you guys have not read Invisible Man, or if you're stumbling on this channel and going, what is she talking about? About the author. Ralph Ellison was born in Oklahoma and trained as a musician at Tuskegee. I've always had a problem saying that word. Tuskegee Institute from 1933 to 1936, at which time a visit to New York and a meeting. This is why I'm reading this. This is the whole point, because this is my dude. And a meeting with Richard Wright led to his first attempts at fiction. Since then, his reviews, short stories, articles, and criticisms have appeared in many national magazines and anthologies. Invisible Man won the National Book Award and the Russ Warm Award from 1955 to 1957. Ellison was a fellow of the American Academy in Rome. He taught at Baird College, so forth and so on, but the whole point of me reading that was to let you guys know he had a meeting in New York with Richard Wright. Richard Wright has a book called 8 Men, and there was this pressure that I got like in my chest from reading one of the stories the same pressure I got in reading Invisible Man. So, yeah, you're welcome, Mr. Ralph Ellison. But, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Maybe one day I'll try to, I probably won't revisit that book. I just won't. That's that. That's not all. That's all. It's 1 hour and 14 minutes. And Karen says, I loved Mr. Potter. I read that. Thanks for reading the passage aloud. She hooked me from the beginning. I think I read it in a day. Yes. And that book just got to me. But that beginning, I was like, come on, what is this? And then, as you guys saw, is, the sun and the sunset in the sky. It's very poetic, but when you come off of one book and you read another and you go, oh, what is this? But then that book was just dope. I've already said that. So many books, so little time, says Dawn, but Beloved is on top as soon as I can get to the library. Yes, ma'am. I hope that your library has it and that you enjoy it. It's very haunting. It's very beautiful. It's very Toni Morrison at her best, prime. If you talk about personal best, if you can, this life that you've had and lived thus far, what has been your personal best in books or just in life experience? Just a little share of mine. Number one, having my art in a museum, having children and grandchildren, and having my grandchildren look more like me than my kid. I love that feeling. I don't know what it is. And is that a personal best or is that just genetics? But thanks, Mommy. But personal best, like having long-lasting friendships, like with Stephen Massey, you guys met in the chat room. Personal best, like doing a painting and refusing to sell it to somebody that so that you won't get to see that painting ever again other than by way of a picture. There's two paintings actually that I have that I refuse to sell to somebody that has some really nice money. But I'm so glad that I grew up the way that I did, and that, like, I can see this in my kids, that money doesn't rule their lives. We can live day to day and we'd be fine. We'd be rich with all the experience that we have in our creative sides and just living life and being happy. So my personal best moment up to this point would be the fact that I've enjoyed all of that and not put a price tag on who I am. And with all that said, it's time to go. And I love you guys. I'm glad that you took some time out, and Happy New Year. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's over. Almost. Like, tomorrow is the last day of the month, and I will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll talk about anything you guys want to talk about, and we're going to revisit KT's suggestions and her wonderful topics that she brought up. And because we're going to use it for the blackout. Reason being is because the blackout is not just one genre. It's not one frame of thought. All black people are not the same. We don't share the same brain. I said that because I felt like I had to. Anyway, I'm out. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. It's about love, and it's about support, and it's about appreciation and recognizing those independent writers that have written one novella or one book, and to support them so that you can give them the thing that they need to write that second book. Or also, what I love about independent writers is it may inspire the writer in you to do the same thing that they did, because they're not a big, huge name, and it's not just so lofty that you can't write a Pulitzer Prize book. Because sometimes people will paint a painting and think, oh, it's going to be this or it's going to be that, or write a book and go, oh, I'm going to write my first book is going to be a Pulitzer Prize. No, just write the book. And so independent writers that you read next year during the blackout may inspire that writer in you to write that book. And Karen Run Right Reads has books, and yes, we should all run out and get them. Hello, Karen. I seen your book on Booktube. I can't wait to read it. I really can't. I'm so psyched, and that you're sharing your gift with us. Bye, everybody. Bye, Angela. Thank you so much for sticking it out this whole time. Bye, Denise, says Lisa. You know, one of my best friends' name was Lisa, and we were always Lisa and Denise, and every time somebody would say Lisa or Denise, we would both turn around. It's funny. But anyway, by Dawn, by Musical Tati, by Karen Run Right Reads, by Alicia Pretty Brown Eyed Reader, by Dawn, I said that, and I'm just scrolling up and I see the names over and over. I'm sorry. And by Kia Denae, by Tati, by Freckled Bivia. Hey, sweetheart, how are you? And I just saw see, Tati's going to kill me for not scrolling up. But if I missed anybody, it is 1 hour and 19 minutes, and it's an hour and 20-minute video. And that's what I like. All right. So everybody, if you are in the chat room, say hello to one another on their channels like normal. And if you are not subscribed and liking their Vlogmas, it's almost over. So go and join in and watch Karen Run Right Reads and also KT. I'm not sure if anybody else in here is doing the Vlogmas, but thank you for putting out videos every single day. I am enjoying them and will enjoy getting caught up with the ones that I haven't watched. And thank you for being here. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Really going this time. Really going. All right, come on, Johnny. Let's go. Hi, Paul Bright. Hi, Get a Q. Hello, Columbus Moore. And I will talk about that. I said I was going to talk about it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And our Booktube read buddy reads for this channel for next year, which is like Monday. I don't know. I'm so perplexed. It's not going to beat her. I don't care what nobody says. Love y'all. Goodbye. That's my final thought. You're just not going to beat her. It's not going to do it. Not this one. No, ma'am.